Ooh, that's some hot coffee. Hey, good morning, guys. So today we are taking a look at Crucible, which is actually a project of mine that I created for a talk, or I guess based on a technique for a talk, and presented that among other places at CFCon last year, which I'm actually heading to next week as well. So stay tuned for a video documenting my CFCon adventures as well. Now, what Crucible do is it's supposed to solve a problem that I had during a red team engagement back in 2023. So if you've been doing phishing, at some point you might have tried to do phishing using QR codes. The technique is based on embedding the QR code into the phishing email and then building the phishing pretext around that QR code. And then when the user sees that, hopefully they take up their mobile device, they'll scan that QR code, you're being redirected to some sort of landing page and then the phishing page. And what's great about that is that we know for sure when we're going up against these companies that their laptops or workstations are going to have proper protection most of the time, but their mobile devices that they're then sort of being redirected or forced onto might not have those same protections and might not provide the same level or any telemetry at all to the defense team. So that's at least why I think doing QR code phishing or quishing, which I don't like, I hate that name. If you look up some of the detection engineering behind detecting QR code phishing attacks, then you'll quickly see that a lot of them revolve around straight up just identifying an image being present in a either sketchy or phishing looking email, might be coming from an uncommon sender, might have some suspicious text and theme. But overall, they're going to look at that image attribute and then do some post-processing onto it. And if you pay for more black box solutions like Microsoft Defender for cloud or endpoint or whatever it's called right now, I feel that they change the name of that product every week, then you actually have a dedicated tag or dedicated data source in your emails called QR codes. And you don't really know how Microsoft Defender for Identity detects that there is a QR code in the email, but later on in the video, you'll get some hints onto that. But yeah, so this is the sort of starting point I started looking at. And then I quickly found that people have been doing QR codes using ASCII art for quite a bit of time. I think even the infamous InfoSec creator, John Hammond, made a video about this, where essentially you're drawing QR codes in the email using ASCII characters instead of having an actual image. And that got me thinking, are there other ways to draw QR codes within an email that might be interesting for an attacker? And that led me to create Crucible. And Crucible allows you to generate QR codes using CSS and tables. And I'll show that in a second here. In the email, we're creating I'll show you, let me pull it down and I'll walk you through some of the source code, okay? So in my trusty Kali VM here, we are going to start off by opening a new terminal. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to git clone the Crucible GitHub repo to my documents folder or straight onto my user folder. Then I'm going to create a new Python virtual environment called QR. And then we are going to source that, move into that environment. And then we're going to install the requirements file to get the Python dependencies we need to run this project. That text was a bit too big. And then so that should be pretty much it. And if you run the QRCode.py script now with --help, you'll see the help menu for this project. Actually, let's peek quickly at this source code. So it's not going to be, wow, if I could type, it's not going to be particularly complicated, but how this works is that we're essentially generating a QR code using a QR code library within Python. So we get the actual QR code image. And then we are going to convert that QR code image either to a set of tables or a table or using CSS. And I'll show you the result of that later. But for table, it's going to be as dumb as walking through every cell in the QR code. And then we are going to color each column in our table with the background color either white or black based on the color of that row in the QR code or that cell in the QR code. And if you do that and you apply some other basic formatting like border spacing, border collapse, and display in that block, then you hide those lines between the columns in the table, and it looks like a QR code. And you can also do the same with CSS. In CSS, you're actually creating the QR code as a white sort of canvas, and then you're actually adding black shadows in the black portions of the QR code in CSS. I'll show you how that looks. But to use this, it's pretty simple. Let's give it a URL. So let's go to google.com. And then we are going to give it an output name. Just going to call it index.html, and then we're going to use the CSS method for this first example. And then we can just open index.html, and you see we got a QR code. And this looks like an image being embedded like you typically would do with QR codes. But if you look at the source code, you can see that this is just some CSS code. And it indeed creates a white canvas, sets some CSS properties in order to start filling in the black squares that is the QR code as box shadows. This CSS example, or this CSS technique, is actually based on an example I found online. Let's see if I can find it real quick. This guy right here, I believe. Yep. So that's going to be somebody called Jason Delia. I'm just going to go with Jason here because I'm going to butcher the name even worse. But yeah, so I saw this, and this is how I created the code as an example, because he did this in a really cool manner. So I guess for the CSS method, shout out to that. For the table method, I didn't really find anybody else doing it like that, at least from what I could find. So table, sorry. And then if we refresh index, you'll see that we now have a long table with the rows being colored with a specific color. The CSS method works for the browser instance of Outlook, but not for the application version of Outlook. However, the table version works for both and every other email client that I've tested against. So I think the table version is by far the most accurate one. There's also a few other options here. You can also create an EML file instead of an HTML file as output. This is interesting if you want to put this into some sort of automation and mass generate your phishing emails, so you can just double click them and send them, right, if you're doing that manually. And you can also, yeah, as I said, feed it a template and then give it the string QR code placeholder where it will replace that QR code. And that's pretty much it for Crucible. Go check it out. Might be really useful for you and your phishing engagements coming up. I have had great success bypassing Microsoft Defender for Identity the last time I tested this, because Microsoft Defender for Identity actually will not detect this as a QR code. So when you send an email with the QR code obfuscated using tables with this tool, Microsoft Defender for Identity, or whatever it's called at this time, won't detect it as a source or as a QR code, and therefore the URL you're sending or encoding in the QR code won't actually show up in the logs. So it's sort of blinding the telemetry in that way. So go check it out. Hopefully it's going to be super useful for your next red team engagement. And yeah, that should be it for Crucible. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm trying to move away from streaming and making more sort of shorter length content while still producing them one time a week, every Sunday or every Monday. That's where I'm trying to push a video. Feel free to leave a comment with any video suggestions or criticisms or way to improve. And yeah, like and subscribe if you like the content.